How are we doing, everybody? Welcome to the show. My name is Bo.
I'm Jamie, and this is
Adjusting to Life, a chiropractic married couple's take on life, love, business, parenting, all the ups and downs, mess ups, screw ups, funny, sad, happy moments, everything in between.
Yep.
Raising kids in the digital age is what we're talking about. I don't think, first of all, there's no one way. Every kid's different. Every family dynamic's different. What are your core values? What are your beliefs? So not that this is an instructional video, but I think just how we've come to create not rules like this many minutes, this many days. You have to do these things before you get this. Not saying that's a bad way to do it. Our approach has been creating more of like a system, a lifestyle that is centered around like, when does it feel appropriate to use this screen when there's not other things that could be done that are maybe more beneficial. At the same time, they're kids. They sneak things when they're not supposed to and watch too much and fall asleep on the couch and they stay up too late watching TV in the other room. Whatever it is, right? That happens. Kind of like when Max stayed up all night. To be fair, he did sneak an energy drink. I still don't know how he found it. Yeah, he drank that at like 11 o'clock.
know that.
Oh yeah, caffeine, big time. Anyway, so point being, what have we done to create more of a system and a lifestyle that just makes them want to not sit on a screen all day long? Prefacing with, until a year or two ago, our kids were like the classic, like didn't want to do anything besides play a video game or be on a tablet or this. And it was like work to get them outside sometime. And we're just talking about now, like it's completely different. And I think a lot of that comes from you and I spending more time actively engaging with them instead of like, yeah, go outside and play. It's let's go outside and play.
Right.
Or let's go do this.
Right. Well, and it's like kids want that control, right? They're going to want that, like, well, I want this and I feel like I need it right now. So if you're telling me no, I'm just going to be upset about it instead of, okay, well, yeah, let's go do something else. Let's shift and kind of see. I think that rigidity, Mason was just watching some movie last night and the dad comes down and he's like, we do screens from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And the whole part of that point of the scene was like the kids were constantly trying to sneak the tablets and sneak the little game thing, whatever it was. And so I think like they want that control. So showing them like, this is something that you can use and this is something that is fun, but it's not something that we just pour our whole day into. You know, I think there's so much, we were just talking about like that dopamine hit that you just get from like that newness and that constant, like those short, like Max watches YouTube shorts all the time and I just watch him just dive in because it's like
you're watching people do things that you like to do. And I know that we are not alone because every time I bring this up, every parent's like, I don't get it. Literally playing with a toy or baseball or something that you love and you're choosing to watch somebody else do it. It's interesting. Anyway, like I've never watched golf videos for 2 hours on YouTube before, so whatever.
Yeah.
Pot calling the kettle black. But that's at night when I can't go golfing, so it's different. I don't even know what the point was now. I'm thinking about golf simulators so I can
Yeah.
golf at night. If I'm being honest, that's what I'm really thinking about.
well, and that's probably like what the kids are thinking
The
about,
dopamine hit.
right?
Here's what I was going to say.
There you go.
So I think we talked about this already, but the fact of like kids who are parented and praised on the work they do and the effort they put in versus the accolades or the achievements only or mostly. And so by creating experiences where we can do a hike, and a hike with little kids can be like the dog park, right?
It's a walk in the
the woods. But there's a couple hills where they want you to carry them and you're like, nope, let's go. Come on, we're going to do this. And then you get to praise the effort and turn around and look at the hill. Or if they've helped us in the yard before, the boys love when we get the beauty bark every year. They don't help for hours, but they, to be fair, they help quite a bit and they shovel into those wheelbarrows and we take pictures and we see, look at what you did. Look at all that effort you put into this thing, right? And praise them on that. That's not as easy to do when you're just like, yeah, here, take this iPad or play this video game. Like those wins are not very cool. Working with pitching in baseball or catching a football and the technique and seeing a kid do something that they couldn't do before and they're taking away a skill. You have filled up their value tank and given them something that's staying with them. It's no longer just a dopamine hit. It's a dopamine hit with a skill that transitions into life, right? And the fact that we work through something and now you can do it. So the next time something's hard, do they have that little inkling that, hey, I can do hard things? Or are they just used to watching other people do stuff and they don't ever achieve anything?
Yeah,
So they're not wired to do because they're never doing.
that's a good point. They just
so
have to watch
that-
passively.
Yeah, so I think us doing things, and especially together, I also think you can jump in on this, but when the mom gets involved in athletic stuff, especially one that maybe wasn't a fast pitch player, wasn't a volleyball player, a stud at soccer, like some kind of dynamic athlete that is used to moving their body a lot, when that mom comes in and learns how to throw a baseball hard back to their kid, or can throw a frisbee, or can shoot a basketball, they like to see the parent get better too. They also like to see something that the parent isn't awesomely better at them at. Like, so
Let them
humble
be the
yourselves in, well, I never played basketball, I don't know what. Then go tell them that. Say, hey dude, I've never done this either. Let's go learn together. Let's watch a YouTube video on basic and let's go outside and do it. Right. So
Use
now I'm doing your
technology.
screen time with you, but now we're going out and working on something in real life. More like Instagram than it does getting outside. It's a little pun there, real life.
That's good.
No big deal.
Well, yeah, and just looking at, monkey see, monkey do. If kids are looking at mom and dad coming home from work or just being at home and like just sitting on their phone scrolling, I think this is a really...
never done that.
Never, ever. You're really good at never doing that. I think that is a really hard, going back to boundaries, like that's a really hard boundary, I think, to implement because most of us have, like, our life is on our phone. Like some of us have this gray area where work is on our phone or work is our phone, right? And so I've heard a lot of trouble in like describing that to the kids of like, okay, well, this, I need to be doing this, even though you're seeing me on mine, but I'm telling you not to be on yours, and just kind of putting it, I totally was, I think, that mom for a little while of like, well, I was a gymnast. I never threw a ball. And like Max is always asking me, I'm like, wait for your dad to get home. And then he'll throw you a ball. But he's like, well, you're here right now. Let's do this right now. And let's show how we can be doing things together instead of just you do your thing, which is usually going to be on a screen because they're not going to just sit there for too long without something.
And it kind of circles a little bit back to like, what defines you? When you say, this is my name, this is who I am and what I do, first thing, work, because I think so many people get home from a job and think the work day is over. But we forget that like, a few hundred years ago, the work day was at your house on your farm. Right? Taking care of your homestead, taking care of your people, and that was the purpose. And yes, it's different, but the work now is just not at home, right? The work has now been outsourced outside so that we can take advantage of the resources we have available. But to get that, we have to earn money. So I get that, totally get that. But the reality is your work day is done when you go to bed. Now, some work is more fun than others, right? Working on your family, working with your kids on something, with your spouse on something, cooking dinner, cleaning the house, things where you're at your home base, where you're out with your kids, you're working on teaching them manners at a restaurant, being an example for them. It's never done. It's just okay to have fun during some of that work. And I think when we shift the mindset to the work is the day, and I have different facets of that, and I don't value my time here more than I do here. I don't let myself be a lower standard at home because I'm comfy. I maintain that higher standard of who I am. And when I didn't do a very good job of that, I was the guy that would come home and relax and want to be calm and like, oh, it's cold outside. I don't want to, like when the kids are little and you can't quite trust them, but they're big enough to want to go play and you have to follow them everywhere on their bikes and things. You have to, and pretty soon like you're missing that. And so I think just stepping up and like doing what you know, the reason you don't feel good about going out there is because you know you should, but you don't want to when you're valuing screen over the family time. And then all of a sudden we wonder why our kids don't want to get off an iPad because we don't set it down enough. Again, not everybody, I think we do a better job now, but still falling into the other day, I was like, Max, come on, man, you said you wanted to watch this movie. Let's put your iPad down. I was like literally looking at something on my phone that I thought was important enough to be looking at as I was telling, and I'm like, I'll put mine down too. And so again, we're not perfect, but it's just identifying those situations where we can shift it for the better without turning it into, that's bad, put it down. It's, hey, let's watch this movie together and hang out. Let's spend a little time together before we will fall asleep watching this so we don't feel like we wasted time.
Right. Well, and that, like, time isn't linear, right? And I think that, like, our phones give us an announcement once a week of, like, congratulations, you had this much less percentage of screen time. At least my phone does. I don't know if yours does.
I mean, you can't get that every week or you'd never use your phone. Like, simple math, facts.
Right. But, like, obviously...
I use less screen time every single week. How's that possible?
Just, just like a little micro, 1% every day, right? It's better. But the point is...
I mean, eventually you're going to be empty.
Maybe that's the point.
You do have like an iPhone 6. I'm surprised that thing still works.
It works. There's no point.
Anyway, I'm ruining your point.
Thank
Carry
you.
on.
The point is that we, like, at least I get excited when I'm like, oh, I know I did better with, like, not wasting my time, or, like, think, like, in the moment of scrolling, you're like, okay, yep, you're not really thinking about anything other than, like, okay, what's next? What am I going to see? And then you get done, you look at the clock, and it's like, well, crap, it's been 30 minutes, and I just wasted that 30 minutes.
That's sort of why I forgot to wake you up this morning, because for about 47 minutes, I was watching woodworking reels on Instagram and YouTube.
I know you love it, so I was having great dreams, so
Gosh, literally every time, this is what happens. Every time I get an idea to talk about something, it's exactly what I needed to hear. It's just me teaching myself and hoping someone else needs to hear the same thing.
I feel like that's the point of life. Learning new experiences and
I mean,
help other people
maybe a
along.
point.
A point.
That's a pretty bold statement.
Really?
I mean, you might be right, but you might be wrong.
I might be wrong. fair.
You never know. But yeah, let's keep talking about technology boundaries in regards to kids, because we want adults to watch technology because we're making something where they have to be on tech to watch it. So let's just remind each other, it's okay, it's healthy. All right, guys, if you made it this far, thank you for listening to the show. We really appreciate you. We've got more content and topics coming up. If you have something you'd like to hear about, please let us know, because we'd like to share info on what you actually want to hear.
And if you can like, comment, and subscribe, that would help us out, and share it with other people who you think would love it too.
Have a good day. Remember, progress, not perfection.
There you go.